Next, we will use pairwise comparisons to derive the relative priorities for the criteria. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my goal node, buying a car, and then I'm going to go to the Judgments tab, and it's going to bring up this page here. Now I need to decide how much more important each criteria is than another. So here the first thing it's asking is, aesthetic is how much more important to me than comfort. Well, maybe I think comfort is more important than aesthetic, but I don't really know how much more important. So I'll go through and I'll just go ahead and click on 7. So now it fills in comfort is very strongly more important than aesthetic. I like that, so I'll keep it. Next I'll go to aesthetic versus cost. I like this very strongly more important than, so I'll go with it again and click 7. Next I have aesthetic versus safety. I think safety is more important than aesthetic, and I'll still stick with the very strongly more important than, so I'll click on 7. Now I have comfort versus cost. Well, I think cost is more important than comfort, but I don't think it's that much more important. So I'll go ahead and try 4. So that says cost is moderately to strongly more important than comfort, which sounds good to me. Now I have comfort versus safety. And I think comfort is a little bit more important to me than safety, so I'll go ahead and click 4. Moderately to strongly, I like that. Now I have cost versus safety. Maybe I think that I can't really choose between the two. They're about even to me. So I'll just go ahead and click 1. And it says cost is equally as important as safety. I just want to point out here that this is the questionnaire format of looking at these, which is the way I like to look at it, but there are actually a few other ways to do it too. For each one of these, if I click on it, I can go to the graphical, and I'll see a bar graph and a pie graph comparing each of them. I can also go to the verbal, which explains what the different words mean. And then I can go to matrix, which looks a little bit like how it's calculated in Excel. And then I can go to direct, which actually gives the decimal values we would have calculated if we did this in Excel. If I look over here to the right-hand side, I can see that I have a little bit of a problem. My inconsistency is a little bit over 0.3, which is way too high. I want to get that under 0.1 if at all possible. The good news is I can actually look and see what my most inconsistent values are by going to Matrix, Inconsistency, Inconsistency Report. And that brings up in order what my most inconsistent values are. And I can see that my worst ones are comfort versus safety and comfort versus cost. It tells me what my current value is and what the optimal value would be. There's still a problem though. If I look, it's trying to change this one from blue to red and this one from red to blue. I really don't want it to do that. I want it to be mathematically accurate, but I also want to keep what my original priorities were. After all, I chose one over the other for a reason. So I need to think of a way to get the inconsistency as low as possible without changing my actual priorities. The best way for me to do this is to change my values a little bit, but not as much as it thinks I should. So if I go back to the questionnaire tab, I see that cost and comfort and safety both had a value of 4. So maybe I keep them on the same side, but I make them a little bit smaller. So how about I change them both to a 2? And if I do that, you can see that I have an inconsistency of 0.069, which is less than the 0.1 I need.